Guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mental Muse 2.0, aka Mary, and I wasn't going to make a video today. Honestly, I was just gonna work on one of my other videos, one of my cult videos. I'm not gonna tell you which cult it is that I'm working on, but I just wanted to. I was gonna work on that actually, so I wasn't planning on being on camera. So I just woke up not too long ago because I want to take advantage of the time while my daughter is gone, because I'm going to talk about her for a minute. And she doesn't know I'm doing this video, and she may come across it if she decides to watch my channel, because she does subscribe to it. So which I'm lovely to be blessed that my child wants to watch me. But when I say child, I mean a 17-year-old. I mean almost 18. She's almost an adult, of course. But please disregard the hair. It has not been styled. I'm just enjoying my coffee. I have some breakfast over here. I think I have some oatmeal and some sausage, and I took a couple bites, but I haven't actually ate yet because it's a little too hot, and I don't have my teeth in yet, so which I need to work on. I have been wearing them for at least 2-3 weeks now, and only because I had ended up with a bunch of like cold sores. They were around my mouth. It was really bad. And I posted, if you follow me on Facebook and stuff, I posted a video about that a little bit, and some photos about, the stigma behind cold sores and stuff. I don't think I put it on YouTube, but I did put it on my socials. So, I think I may have also put it on my Instagram. I'm not sure. My main point of this video, and I'm hoping it's not going to be very long, and if you'd watched my last video about the bedding thing, I do apologize for it being as long as it was. I always rewatch all my videos that I make. So whenever I make a video, I always go back and I sit down and I actually watch it. Try to watch it from a viewer's point of view. And think about, okay, what I could have done better. Kind of like when you're a football player, I guess. When you play a game and you go back and you're looking at the board and looking at the videotapes, like, oh, I should have faked left when I went right, and I should have did this, I should have did that. Well, I did that, and I know I can't be perfect at this, but I'm trying my hardest. So, I also noticed my sound is different without my teeth on. If you had earbuds in, I don't know if that from your point of view, but when I listened to myself, when I edited the last video, I recorded all the my talking first, and then I went back over and put in the actual footage and things. And so whenever I was my video could have been shorter because of that. I didn't want to edit any of the talking part, because then it would kind of be choppy, or it would make sense, or I may accidentally cut myself off, and it would have been a big mess. So it was better just leave it long. But I do appreciate those who have watched it. Thank you very much. I'm also, if you guys know, if you watched my coming back video, I told you guys I'm going to post some videos like that. I call them stupid videos, but they're not really stupid. They're educational, but they're actually just basic generic videos. I'm going to try to make it seem like I'm putting effort into it, so YouTube can, those that are out there are watching all of us theorists out here, sea theorists, and what they call us, basically, we all know is the truth. They want to sit there and tell us that we are not, that they want to pitch strikes against our channels. They want to take our channels down. They want to keep us, from speaking our mind, our opinion, our truth. So, my shirt's like really weird. I slept in the shirt, and it's kind of really weird. It's fitting weird too, of course, and again, it's from overseas. It's cheaply made, but anyways. So, and I apologize, I didn't even make the bed this morning. We typically I don't even make the bed on the weekends. Usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not making the bed, because if you watch my last video, I've got every single one of those components on my bed, and it's layers, and it takes effort and energy, and yeah, so So weekends, I'm not making the bed, but I will try my hardest to make it Monday through maybe on Fridays. Fridays are hit and misses depending on how I feel because it's kind of like weekend. But yeah, so my point is this video is going to, now I said my piece, I'm kind of warmed up a little bit. I'm sorry if I sound groggy. Typically when I do sound groggy, it's because I just woke up. So FYI, in a lot of my videos I talk about how I have allergies. I do have allergies, by the way, and I did take a Benadryl last night. I always seem to have allergies, and I don't know why, and I've tried my hardest to dust. I try to use air purifier. I try to keep the windows closed, and I do everything I can. I stay indoors 99% of the day and time. So I don't know. I take allergy meds. I mean, it's crazy. I took a Benadryl last night, and because I had like a little migraine trying to start, and I really do not need a migraine. So I took like what they call the migraine cocktail, which is like 2 Excedrin and like 1 Benadryl, I think, or whatever. But okay, don't take it because I took it though. Just so you know, disclaimer. But anyways, I did notice that I came across one channel last night. Let me look at my phone. Let me see if I can pull up on my phone and see if I can find it. Let's see. Maybe it's right here. Yeah. Okay. Her name is Aja Walker. It's AJA with space Walker, WALKER. She had I'm not going to tell her story because it's really not my place, but she had gone through a lot of physical ailments, and I had come across her YouTube, and she is for some reason I came across one video, which I find it's kind of amazing. I think maybe the algorithm thought maybe I needed to watch it because she had gone through similar situations that I do with my teeth, and I was listening to her as she was doing her makeup, and I felt her pain. I felt her what she is, her emotions and everything. And I understand coming from being self-conscious and everything, and trying to get the courage. You've gone away for so long from YouTube. You were used to being on YouTube doing, especially she does a lot of makeup on YouTube, so doing makeup and looking pretty and trying to do that pretty perfect thing because that's what everybody wants to see, and the trolls out there want to hate on people that don't look perfect. And so we always want to think that we have to have makeup on, our hair done, and we have to have our teeth done, we have to have all this stuff done before we can be actually make a YouTube video. I almost spilled my coffee, but anyways, we still good. So I thought about this, and I thought, she really broke down a little bit while she was doing her makeup. And she was like, okay, I'm not going to cry, because she just did her makeup. But she was talking about all that feeling and emotion about, how I'm feeling self-conscious about it, and especially being young, because she is young. I don't know exactly how old she is. I know she's an adult, but I'm not sure how old she is, but I'm pretty sure she seems to be close to around my age. I may be a little bit older, but I come off younger. But I get it. I totally understand where she's coming from. So I myself, my ring light is like really, really, really bright. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Okay. So, yeah, I came across her YouTube channel, and I felt so much pain, radiating from her, to the point that it wasn't that I felt sorry for her. It was more like, I see you, sister. I see you. And, I get it. I do. I know, and I know there's so many other channels out there. The algorithm hasn't showed me them, and I think the algorithm did because I was logged in. I wasn't logged into what I call my Watcher account, which is my account that I just watch I just watch videos on, and it was my first account that I don't have any. I think I only have maybe like 4 videos on there. I really was thinking about making that more of a personal, account, but I haven't really kept up with it. So I don't know, but that's my watcher account. But I was logged into this account, and I came across her uh, thing and her channel, and I guess through the app, and it just kind of just shows you what way you might recommend, and I think she was like the second or third, because the first one's obviously some sponsored one. Another one was I don't know, some video game thing. I don't know why, but anyway. So and hers was there, and I was like, and the title of her video caught me, and I was like, oh, she's young though. But I was like, okay, I actually sat there and watched her, and as soon her video's not very long. It's maybe about like 10-15 minutes, give or take. And I watched it, and I was like, girl, I feel you. She's talking about how she broke her nails off. She had time to get them fixed. She has not, I mean, her hair, she ain't got it fixed. She's still worried about, and though her makeup technique is still old now because she hasn't been on YouTube in a minute. And I'm like, girl, I had to breathe for her. I really did. So go check her out, please. I know she's got a lot more subscribers and views than I do, but I did comment on her. I wasn't trying to say, hey, come join my channel. I'm just saying, hey, check out my video as well if you need inspiration as well, because I've gone through similar situations, and I have a dental journey, so I know what you're going through, and I'm still going through it. I'm actually nervous. This is another reason why I haven't been wearing my top teeth. I've been wearing my teeth at all, but top teeth are pointless because without my bottom partials. Now I still got these teeth here, but I don't have any back teeth. Well, it's kind of pointless to wear tops if I still can't chew because I have no back teeth. So I've been wary about wearing the bottoms because I have what they call an anchored tooth. I only have like one anchored tooth left on this side. It's like right there. That tooth, you guys see? They take up this tooth, and I still have this one. That's my only anchored tooth I have. And if you don't have an anchored tooth, these all teeth are pointless, and I'm gonna have to take all those out. And I'm scared because I've been having some pains here and there with that tooth, and I think I have maybe cavities and stuff. And the dentist have already tried putting fillings in it. Has already tried putting like some bonding around it to kind of wrap the tooth a little bit to keep the pain down, but I think it's failing, and I'm so scared to get it. If I may have to go back, and it's going to cost more money, but if the other option is to get this tooth taken out, then I can't, and I don't qualify for implants, and because my bone, I've already described this. I'm not going to go back into this whole video about my teeth, but my bones, I've already had too much bone loss, and my bones are too small and brittle now that I don't qualify for implants. So unfortunately, so dentures it is. So if I'm gonna have some type of quality of eating, I've actually gotten to the point, I've gotten through some of the pains of actually gumming, what they call gumming, a little bit like crunchier things. I recently had a win. I went to the movies recently, and we're planning on going tomorrow too, but I went to the movies recently with my daughter, and we went to go see Inside Out 2, which, by the way, is actually a really good movie. And if you take away all the conspiracy stuff out of it, it's actually a really cute movie. But yeah, so my win was that we ordered like what we call the emotion pack or whatever it is, and basically you get like a large popcorn, two large drinks, and 2 candies or whatever. And it was like, of course, it was like $20-$30, but it wasn't bad. I mean, considering, I'm a AMC stub member, so I mean, I get the free upgrades and so forth. So it works itself out. But anyways, so I just nonchalantly decided I'm gonna try to put 1 or 2 pieces of popcorn in my mouth, which is weird for me because normally I used to eat like handfuls at a time. I don't know if you eat popcorn with just one or two at a time, you're not human. I'm just gonna say it like that. Because it's just like eating the chips and stuff. I mean, I take a whole mouthful. So, but I end up eating a couple pieces. I thought I'm gonna try it out with no teeth because I went this, and it was, you know what, and it's so weird going out in public with no teeth because I'm trying. When I was healing, I didn't have my teeth in, so I guess it was hard, but I was like, I can't stay inside away from society my whole life or for months on end while I'm healing. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to just suck it up. I gotta realize nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And anybody that says they're perfect, or no, I don't think anybody would announce they're perfect, but anybody out there that's just there and judges you because you have no teeth can kiss your butt. I mean, seriously. So, anyways, I wanted to retract back into about that because about her, that's why I'm talking about my teeth because of her video. I mean, it really did inspire me. It really did. My computer went to sleep and it scared me. I thought it stopped recording. Anyway, so ooh, my focus is not very good. There it goes. Okay. So, yeah. So I came across her channel and I just wanted you guys to check her out. But I did what I thought it was kind of interesting though. I don't know if it was her or somebody else that follows her, but I want to thank that person, whoever subscribed to me, because I woke up this morning. For the longest time I've only had 166 subscribers. Now I had almost 200 back a while, way back, right after COVID. I had almost 200, and then I just fell off the face of earth pretty much because I had a lot of, we moved, two, I was dealing with a lot of emotional issues at that point. I couldn't just concentrate and sit down and post anything. And not only that, three, I was trying to let a strike fall off of my channel that I gotten because I posted some videos that you guys liked, and now I recently decided, I'm going to start all the way over. I'm going to try to change this algorithm up. So that's explaining why I posted that bed video, why I posted the chocolate video, things like that, and my teeth journey video, because I want to post, I'm trying to make it so YouTube's thinking, oh, she's just posting normal videos. We don't have to watch her. And then when they're not watching, I will post the videos that most of you guys enjoy. So, and then hope it works. So, that's the evil plan. Ha ha ha. But anyway, so, yeah. But I wanted to get on here actually, honestly, and here we are going in 20 minutes of me and my talking and rambling. But one, I want to tell you guys though, do check our channel out. Even though I will support bigger channels than my own, even though I sometimes don't get that same love back. But I do, if it's worth your while, check them out. Especially if you follow my stuff, you may like their stuff. So, and it's nice, and I like to I'll tag them into the title of the video. When I post this up, I'll tag her, just in case. And so she's aware of that. I see her. I see you. Asia Walker, I see you. And I understand your pain. I understand what you're going through. I'm hoping to be some sort of an inspiration for you to let you know that it's okay if you don't have teeth. See, I don't have teeth. And you said they left your bottoms on. I got some bottoms still too, and I'm at the point now that I'm afraid of, because I've been having pain in this one tooth, my only anchor tooth, that I'm afraid to put my partial back on, because if I put it back on, I'm afraid it's going to cause more pain. And when I do, and it does cause a lot of pain, I may have to go back to the dentist, and my next step would be having to pay again and having to get the rest of the bottoms taken out, which means I would be on a full set. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna have to go through that trauma I call it trauma, but thankfully, if I do have to do it, it's going to go through my normal dentist, who I actually do love, and I've had him do other work for me. I just didn't have him do my top ones because I had an emergency. They weren't open, and I went to the nearest one, and they put me through so much trauma to the point that I could have died. I had I had infections. It was bad. So Asia, if you're here, go back and watch my video called My Dental Journey. Watch that video. I also did, before I did that video, and I can't find it on my YouTube for some reason, but it's a really, really quick speed of me doing my makeup with my teeth in. So I did a makeup video too, so I just did it real quickly, but yeah. Anyways, so I wanted to make this video real quickly because my kid's going to be home pretty soon, but this video is mainly for her, but also for those out there that have kids, or at least an only child who is about to go to college. And specifically those, my daughter, who is 17 and a half, she is she just barely started getting on social media. It's not because we're those weird parent. I'm not that weird homeschool mom. No, I am very social. I have been social all my life. I was the tech person that my parents went to. I was computer generation. I was born in the early 80s, and so you can imagine when computers were coming into the homes, I was just hitting puberty, and I was going into, it was all about the AOL, you know what I mean? So, and I was all about Napster and all that, and I enjoyed it, and I would spend day and night on the computer and talking to my friends and meeting new people and doing the ASL thing, and if I'm throwing out lingo and you don't understand it, you're either too old or you're too young for my channel. I'm just saying. But if you do, you know. So, but I ended up going off on. So I was that person, that did that. I was the one that everyone came to. I told my parents, who were old parents, my parents had me in their 30s, so they were old. They call them grandparents, but they were my parents, and they, I had to teach them how to use a computer, how do things work, and if their computer messed up, reboot, mom, you know what I mean? So I had to do that. So they also referred me out to their friends and so forth, to help them set up the internet at my house. There's no really set up, but okay, you pop in the disc they give you in the mail, and you follow the instructions, put your credit card in there, or you have it, actually I was on the generation they send it to you in your phone bill, and so your parents knew you had to basically use the internet by the minute. So AOL will send you those disc, I want to call them CDs, but the like a CD-ROM disc, that look like CDs. You would get you'd get one almost every day in the mail, but it had 1,000 free hours and whatever it is. And when you do, you come with all sorts of different emails and so forth, so you can keep doing a new user account, so you can keep getting those free hours. And then God forbid if you went over, because then your parents are like, oh my God, you spent how many hours on the internet? And of course, I was a generation, and we lived in an area where it was okay to stay at home during the summer by yourself, while your parents were at work all day. So what are you going to do all day when you're told, oh, you can stay home by yourself, but yet don't leave the house? And you're not really technically allowed to have anybody over. So what else are you going to do? Hello, AOL, dial up, here we go. And then God forbid if you did have a sound dial up too long because your parents are calling you and they can't get through, or they knock you off the internet. It really kind of sucks. But especially when you're downloading music, piracy. This is before piracy was an actual thing that we didn't realize, but yeah. And I used to believe that, and I sort of still believe that, if we paid an internet service provider with their phone bill, then we should get whatever's on the internet for free, because we're paying for it. No, you're paying to use basically the plug that it plugs into your computer. You're paying to turn on your computer and to connect. Anything else after connection, you have to pay for. But which is ridiculous. And now we have a subscription generation, which subscription generation came into about mid 90s. It started a lot with it, not just with magazines and stuff, but also with you had you had CDs. I don't know. I think it's BG Music or something like that. Or it was something around that. And you also, I think you had Columbia also had it too. But yeah, you would subscribe and you would pay you can get 6 CDs for 99 cents, or just buy one, and it was for a whole year. You had to buy your commitment was you pledged to buy two CDs for face value, and then you get 10 free or something. That's how you build up your collection. And you would it would come in a paper, and you would check off which ones you wanted, and then you send it in the mail. Yes, the mail. And you would snail mail, actually, and you would send in the mail, and they would end up. And then about 4 to 6 weeks later, literally it took 4 to 6 weeks. It literally took over a month. There was none of this 2-day crap. It was actually literally. It took a month, and you get in the mail, suddenly you see a box on the porch, and you're like, oh my god, that's my CDs. But yeah, and as soon as you open them up, you rip open that box, and you start playing that music, and you're like, hey, I got the newest album. But by the time you think you got the newest album, you did, because they already came out with the new one, and you're like, really? So, anyways, so that I thought was interesting. So anyway, but that was the generation I was part of, that's what we did. And so, when I got older and I had my child, she was born in 2006. And, but during that time period when my husband and we were, I wouldn't say we're poor, but internet was still considered in, because we were newlyweds, but we were also still young, and we're trying to do things on our own, and we were realizing things were still expensive. I mean, it was either you get cable or you get the internet. We couldn't afford all of it. So, and we still need a landline to use the internet. So, but I was still I still did the internet thing now, and I was part of whenever Yahoo Answers was a thing. Now it's not anymore. It finally shut down. But that was what was my go-to, especially when I was pregnant and with my only child, my only pregnancy, and I had worries and concern. Is this normal? And then when my child was born, it was just a toddler, I would try to connect with meetups with other area moms, using, the Yahoo message boards for people in my area. I even used Craigslist. That's when that became popular. I started, and it's amazing I'm alive. That's what my kid says. She goes, how did you not die? But yeah, I did these things on my own, and because my husband was working all day, and most of my friends lived a pretty good distance, and we only had one car between us, and so I barely had my own car, to go out and about. So I had to connect with local, and I did my best. But I raised my child at home for the most bitter part until she was about 2-ish, and then I told my husband that she needs interaction with other kids. I mean, she needs to learn how to share. She needs to learn how to realize she needs to connect on a cognitive level of when it comes to being with other kids. How they talk, how to interaction, because all she knows is adult talk, meaning before you judge me, meaning that she only knows how I talk. She only knows, and I always talk to her like this, and she only knows how you talk, because she only seen us talk. She's only seen my parents talk. I have my older brother who, if you know me personally, who has autism, he doesn't have a child of his own. So, she's the baby, you know. So, and my husband understood because he was an only child himself. And so I might as well have been, because my brother and I really, we connected, but it wasn't the same because of his autism and stuff. It was different. So it was almost like two single children in the home. So, I mean, and I tried, and I hated this because everyone kept asking me, when are you going to have another kid? When are you going to have another kid? Okay, first of all, it was hard enough to have her. I tried my hardest, and I always prayed, God, please just give me one. I'm not going to be greedy. Just give me one kid. And, yes, I prayed again. God, please, like a human being, selfish over here. I wanted another one. I was going to be greedy again. But God said, no, it's not in the stars. So, but I was fine. I was grateful, and I was blessed to have one healthy, what I consider normal child. And according to her pediatrician, she's normal. Everything was fine. Now, she did have her ups and downs and everything, but she has always been very extraordinarily empathetic towards others. She's a big empath and everything. But my thing is that, and if you saw my last video, which was talking about the sleeping or whatever, the bedding and everything, if you saw that channel, or not that channel, but that video, the cover page on that one, the thumbnail, that's her when she was little. That was her laying on her stuffed bear that we got. Her was giant compared to her, and she used to fall asleep on the floor all the time. So yeah, I ended up, so I raised her just like a normal child, and then I thought when she was 2, I thought, okay, she needs to go hang out with other little kids. So we would try to find a way to what can we cut out of our budget to afford child care. So I didn't know, and there probably wasn't really much around for the state or whatever to pay for, child care, and I didn't know how to go about that. So I thought, well, surely we can afford childcare. I called around. I did find one, and many of them were in churches, which I felt like was safe, which nowadays is probably not. I mean, they're probably just as bad as regular daycares. I'm just saying. Now with a lot of reports coming out talking about, oh, well, a youth pastor did this and a youth pastor did that, and, that's kind of scary. But, so I ended up contacting a local church, and who was the same belief systems that I kind of believe, and I thought, okay, they seem nice. You got old ladies, I thought, hey, yeah, but they're still active old ladies, so I thought, okay, and they had plenty of kids, but they weren't too many, and I thought, okay, she can do this, and they were affordable. But then 6 months into it, and of course I was that parent. It was almost like you thought she was going to kindergarten. The first day dropping her off, she was actually fine. I mean, she cried a little bit, but then once they redirected her attention to a toy or something like that, she kind of was like, I'm good, you know what I mean? And I sat in the parking lot of the church in my car, and right outside that window, and I'm just like, I can't see because there's a hedge, but I literally was crying. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my days, but I got over it, because I drove all the way back home, and the house was quiet, but I was like, I can concentrate, I can think, I can get back to myself, So it was actually not that bad. Only problem was, though, I ended up having to leave the house early, because the church was actually a little bit more of a distance compared to where we lived. It was in my old neighborhood, so where I was born and raised in. So I had to leave early, and there was one time I was afraid I was going to be late to pick her up, and I didn't. I was like, no, we don't need to pay any more fines for being late to pick up, and so I thought I was a terrible mom. But so I sped down the highway, but I was going 20 miles over the speed limit, and I ended up getting pulled over, which cost me more time, and all because of my time management sucked. So I'll never forget that one. But then I realized after about 6 months, the daycare closed down. I guess the church who was funding it decided they were going to move. They were selling the church, and it was just like, it was a whole big thing. So I was like, oh, now I got to find a new one. But luckily for us that I was around in the summertime, and we were already planning a small like family vacation. So I was going to be her first little road trip, and we went, which again, that's a whole nother story in itself. And it was a great vacation, and we had extended family with us and everything. But problem is though, I ended up losing my camera. My husband, while we were there, he actually surprised me because it was around my birthday. He surprised me with a digital camera when we got there. He was like, "Hey, we're gonna go to Walmart. I'm gonna pick out a camera, a little small digital camera, and pick it out." Yes, I had to use a camera because my phone didn't have camera capabilities. Yeah, imagine that, right, guys? So this is around like 2008ish and so forth. So I ended up, and I said this video wasn't gonna be long. I lied. Y'all should know this by now. So, but I ended up taking my so I used that camera and I picked it out and I loved it because it was like a metallic green, because I love the color green, and it was a metallic green. I think it was an Olympus, and I was like, and it had like I had a little SD card, and I thought I could pick that in there. I brought my laptop with me, and I thought I could just take it and I could put my, put the little SD card in there in my laptop, and I can upload the photos. And Facebook, I just got on Facebook, I think in 2007-ish. So, I mean, Facebook was still kind of new. I still had a MySpace page, but I didn't post really much pictures on that one. I was trying to build my Facebook up. So, I mean, again, like I said, I was part of social media. And, so I could upload and show my friends, who I was friends with. And I was finding people I went to school with and that we grew up with. So I kind of trusted them, and so forth, because they had kids of their own, and we were, moving on. So it was a good thing. That was back before we had fact checkers, and before we had political stuff, and before we had all this chaos now, all these advertisements and all that. We didn't have any of that stuff back when Facebook first started. Facebook started, the most advertisement you ever had was a game where you had to invite your friends to play in order you to progress to the next level. It was called, basically, you might as well say it's an MLM, but yeah, that was the only bad thing about social media at that time that we thought. So, I mean, I was in on MySpace. I mean, you had Tom. And Tom just sat there and was just grinning, So, and we didn't have to worry about anything. And we could put music on our page, and I loved it. So, I actually don't even know if my MySpace is still even up still. I haven't logged in it in a decade. So, yeah, it's a decade, not years, but decade. And I don't know. But anyway, so I ended up... but I was going to do that. I was going to upload the photos and like that. And I forgot to do it every day, as I took pictures. I was just thought, well, okay, never mind. I'll just do it because I'm so exhausted keeping up with the toddler, dealing with extended family. We were doing all sorts of things every day. But I took all these pictures, and then I ended up accidentally deciding on our way out, leaving the state that we were in, visiting, I ended up going to, I had that idea. I thought, well, hey, we were having our last little fancy little dinner, and it was kind of like a lunch. We checked out of the hotel, we were going to have a lunch, and then we're going to hit the road, right, and come back home. Well, there was like this bowling alley that was like right across the way. I was like, hey, can we do a really, really quick game of bowling? Something a little, so I get a little extra energy out, and then, maybe an hour or two, and then we can hit the road. It was fine. It seemed fine. I thought everybody else says, okay, I guess we could do that. It's no big deal. It's just right across the street. Why not? If it's reasonably priced, it looked reasonably priced because it looked run down, but it looked like the area, So I was like, okay. We're going to do this. And so we go, I took a camera and I'm taking pictures of us bowling. And then right before we get ready to leave, everyone was leaving. And I was like, oh no, but I want to check out the game room. Of course, you can't go to the bowling alley without checking out the little arcade room, right? Especially if you're like me who grew up in the 80s and 90s, you bowling was essential in the summertime and so forth. And when you went bowling, you went to the arcade area, because you were not old enough to go to the bar area, or you didn't know how to play pool yet. So, or if you were short like me, I mean, pool was kind of like, the pool table was like up to here on me. So you went to the arcade area. So you went to the change machine. You put your dollar bill in there. You got your quarters, and you go play. So I thought I wanted to check it out, so see if their games are different than ours here in Texas. So, considering we were in a different state, so, and the bowling alley looked old, and I thought maybe they may have retro games, because some do. And everyone else was out, leaving, going to the car. My daughter and I decided, hey, let's go check it out real quick. I mean, surely they can wait. They can wait 5 minutes. It'll be fine. I told them, I just want to check it real quick. Give me five minutes. So they told me, hurry up. We got to hit the road because we don't want to hit traffic or whatever. So I went, and this is when the first time I ever saw the Dance Revolution. That's what it's called. And I did eventually, years down the road, got an Xbox 360, which I still have. Go figure. And it still works. But I later on down the road bought the Dance, yeah. And then Just Dance came out with the Wii, which we also have. So, which is the original, which we still have, and it still works. But I saw that first time I see the Dance Revolution. I used to see like a lot of the foreign movies and so forth, and I say foreign, I mean by like the Asian movies, so I'm like, because a lot of them are taking place in Japan and Tokyo, they legit, you see them, and they're doing all these little high-tech, the neon lights, the little dancer and everything. It was, you hit the squares with your feet, do the arrows. So I was like, I told my kid, I said, hey, you want to play with me? We could do one game. So, but in order to do it right, because I have my camera in my hand, I set my camera on top of the game and on top of the machine. And while we were playing it, we were playing around, we did like 2 or 3 songs. And then at that point, I was exhausted. And she was tired too. I was like, all right, let's go. And then I realized, so we left. And we got in the car. Everything was fine. We got buckled in. We were exhausted. We got like maybe 20 minutes down the road. And I was like, where's my camera? We couldn't find it. We even pulled off the side of the road and looked. And then my husband was like, hey, you had it with you at the bowling alley. I was like, oh no. So we called. My dad, he called on his cell phone. And yes, my dad had a cell phone. And he used it, and he called them, and they were like, the guy was like sounding lazy, but he was like, it sounded like he didn't even look. But I mean, he ended up going. He called and explained what it looked like and all like that, and they're like, no, we don't see anything here. Now, when my kid and I were back there was nobody in that area. It was like there was nobody, and there was hardly anybody at the bowling alley. So I'm thinking, okay, something happened. I thought maybe it just fell between, like maybe the vibrations of us jumping around. Maybe it fell between the machines, maybe it fell behind it, and I just forgot. I don't know what happened, but I wanted to turn around and go back. My dad was like, we can't turn around and go back. I mean, we're already behind. We're not going, but I begged and pleaded, so he agreed. He said, fine, we'll go turn and go back. I said, it's only a 20-minute drive. Let's just go. They were not happy with me, but we went. My husband went inside to look. He said, I don't see your camera anywhere. I don't see it nowhere. I looked on the ground. I looked everywhere. Your camera's gone. And they haven't seen it either. And nobody's turned one in. And I'm like, of course someone turned one in. So as soon as I got home, I ended up getting on Craigslist, and I was like, "Is that back then? That's what you use for your lost and found stuff." And I went into their local Craigslist and posted right there saying, "Hey, we were visiting at this social bowling alley location, date and time. This is kind of what it looks like, you know." And I described it. Tuesday, I said, you can have the camera if you want. I just want the SD card. If you could just send me the SD card, you know, or get in touch with me, please. You know, that's all I want is the card, the memory card. That's it. You can have the camera. I just want the card. And I was so upset. And I kept looking and looking. I never got a responses. I never got anything, and I did get a couple. The only response I did get was they probably stole it. That I'm from that area. That place is really notorious for thieves. You know, especially some of the workers. You've got to watch your purses. You got to watch stuff, and they'll tell you that they never see anything, but they do. But yeah, so they probably knew you were a visitor and not a local, and so they probably took advantage of it, and yeah. So that's probably what happened. So I ended up just going ahead and just chalked it up as a loss, and I was so depressed and so sad over that. And ever since then, I was like, I'm never ever gonna lose a camera again. I'm never gonna do it. And ever since then, I took as many pictures as I could possible of our family outings. And I'm always the one who's usually taking photos. I'm the one who's always posting them. You know, I think I had a reincarnation of a photographer in my bloodline somewhere, but copy's actually decent. But anyway, so yeah, I felt so sad. And now where I'm going with this is when it comes to now is that I ended up going to when we got back from our vacation, I contacted I put it on my social that I'm looking for a daycare, whatever. And then one of my old childhood friends who I was in kindergarten with, that I've known since kindergarten, actually was the director of a daycare. And I was so excited over it. And I was like, okay. So we're gonna do this. And she's like, yeah. She's like, you can come in. I can give you a tour. You make her feel comfortable. I can meet your little daughter, you know. And it's good. And I loved it. Even though it wasn't the same denomination as I was. It was great. It was a great daycare. And she was happy about it. The teachers were great. It seemed safe. And not only that, but it was structured. They actually had a structure going on. So that was really great too. So, but I ended up going to, this one hair is bothering me. Wait, no, this side. Okay. I'm still learning left to right mirroring with the camera. But anyways, so I ended up enrolling her into it. It was a little bit more than what our last daycare was, but I was told potty trainer and then the price would go down. She was at the age where she needed to start potty training anyway, so we were like, okay, we're going to do this. I was like, you know what, we're going to get, by the end of this year, we are going to do this. We have 6 months, we're going to potty train. 3 months, we are potty trained. 3 months. We were determined. You know what made her determined? Because she saw some princess panties inside Walmart, and she was like, yeah. She was like, I want those. I said, you can't have those princess panties until you learn how to potty train. And lo and behold, that girl was determined and did it. Now, let me fast forward now. My child has always been in public school systems up until 7th grade. We pulled her out. We were planning on pulling her out anyways, but because of the way the school and the district just seemed to not care they cared more about race and equality than they cared about education. I mean, it was starting to get really bad, and so and my daughter was she was the minority in her classes, should I say, and unfortunately she was treated as such. And she was also going through where she felt like she was, not good enough. she developed this perfectional, that she had to be perfect for everything. And not only that, but she compared her body type to others around her, and we were dealing with that. And I mean, there would be times where I sent her with a full lunch, and she'd come home and she saw us a full lunch, and I'm like, did you even eat? I was fine. Yeah, I'm good. What did you eat? You know? Oh, I had a bag of chips. Girl, you. And then I got to the point she even packed her own lunch, and yet she packed a full like sandwich and chips, and not even that, but even I said at least eat a banana, something. And I asked her, I said, do you eat? She either eats really as fast as she can, so nobody sees her, or she was eating where she was barely eating, and it worried me a lot. It also worried me where she would not do as much as like activities as others did. I guess I want to say she became more internal, more of an introvert, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with being an introvert, but there is something wrong with when it becomes it's all you are. Her world was in books. She'd read a lot, or she'd close herself off. So in social settings, when it came to sitting down at lunchtime or whatever it is, instead she would eat her lunch, but she was reading or writing more than she would be, actually eating and talking like most kids do at lunchtime. They can't wait to talk and see their friends. She wouldn't do that. And she claims that the school wouldn't let them do it, wouldn't let them talk when they're eating lunch. But I doubt that a little bit, because I mean, yes, their lunch was probably not as long as ours was back in the day, but I know they allowed them at least some type of talking period. So but I'm not calling her a liar. I'm just saying, maybe from her point of view, it didn't feel like it was important to talk, but it is important to talk. So sorry about that. Anyway, so I was starting to get worried, and I talked to her about things, but then she kind of closed off, and then I noticed how her attitude around the house was like very like closed off. Her and I used to always talk. We used to be almost like buddies and stuff. And then I guess I expected that at a certain age, obviously, because this is middle school. I mean, you change. You're like, Mom, no, I'm not talking to you. I get that. But then I noticed, I thought, okay, well, I mean, her friends have cell phones. Let me get her a cell phone. Well, that turned into a disaster, because not only was she smart, but she also got to a point where she ended up catfishing somebody else who was an adult. And I had to contact and I came across it because I was joking with her, and I grabbed her phone and I said, hey, phone check. And I was joking with her on the phone, and joking for her on the couch, and I grabbed it and I happened to look, and I see it. Suddenly I'm getting messages. It says, hey babe, whatever. And I'm thinking, who is this? And then I look him up, and then I'm seeing the conversations. And she had no clue, and you can tell when she's typing back, he was like, he was telling her what to do, basically grooming her physically, what to do. And I did not want her to, she didn't seem to know what that was. When she responded, she's like, how do I do that? What is that? And it was like, and he was telling her, and it was like, but she pretended that she was a 22-year-old female. And like, she found a Google image of a 22-year-old woman, and she would post those photos, and she would act like, so this dude thought he was talking to a 22-year-old woman, and he wasn't. And so I didn't blame him, because he wasn't grooming her, but it was like, I mean, it was her fault, not his. So, but I did message him. I let him know, said, hey, just so you know, I'm so sorry, but I don't want you to get in trouble with the police, but just let you know that you message her again, you probably will, because now I'm letting you know that my daughter is of this age and so forth, and she did this, and she totally got this you, so please do not. He goes, are you for real? I said, yes, I'm for real. this is her mom, da da da, whatever. And so, and at that point, we call it the terrible, awful. We don't want to talk about it. She hates to even talk about it, but I feel like I need to talk about it because there are so many parents out there that felt like they raised their kid to do everything right. Because my daughter's never gotten in trouble before. School, never been in trouble. She's got nothing but pretty much straight A's and straight B's. She has always been, I mean, like a perfectionist. She's always been good, the good girl. She didn't cuss. She didn't flip you off. She didn't get any attitude. None of that. She was always high ratings from her teachers, school, everybody. And now suddenly we get this, oh, by the way, and all of a sudden I see this and I'm thinking, this is not my daughter. This is not her. And I was livid. I took the phone away from her, and she was about 11 at this time. And I gave it to her when she was 10, but she did this when she just turned 11ish. So, yeah. And I asked her, I said, why? And her only responses were, I'm bored. I'm bored. You don't have enough games? The phone's too old. I can't play games. She had no friends. She had friends. She was in school, but she was bored. And I was like, you don't you talk to your friends? I see you when you're in the bathroom talking to your friends, or you're doing makeup. I hear you on speakerphone talking with your friends. I see you at school with your friends. But she's bored. And that told me that maybe these friends were not friends. They were friends when mom was around, but when mom wasn't there, they did their own thing. She didn't feel included. Or she was included, but in her eyes, she didn't feel like she was good enough, or her self-esteem was so low that she had to do other things. And thankfully, she never did anything on camera, never sent actual real photos or anything, but yeah. So, hold on. So anyway, the whole thing was that she ended up, when she did that, that scared me so much, because I was thinking, oh my God, she's getting into social media a little bit. But I was like, you're 11, and we hadn't even had the talk yet, and because I was kind of waiting, because she just recently just kind of started having, like periods and things like that. And so I was trying to make it where it was like we will eventually get to that point. I was doing it like I was going to do it in stages. As she grows, I'd give her a little bit more information, more complex talks about things as she matures emotionally and intellectually and everything. So as her brain grows, I thought it was appropriate. But then I realized at school, they probably already have, and they probably already talked about it. And, so I was like, she probably already knows a bunch of the stuff that I'm thinking she doesn't, because she's telling me she doesn't, but I think she probably does, because she's been in public school. And so I was like, okay, that's when we started having the talk. Maybe we need to start pulling her out, I think. And then unfortunately, it came at a time where it came we pulled her out right before the whole C-19 happened. It was that fall. We had talks of plan about maybe talking about finishing the school year and then starting, I think it was like 8th grade, or 8th grade or 7th grade or something like that. No, 8th grade. Starting 8th grade at home, doing homeschooling. And that would give me time to try to figure out how to do that, because I had no clue what to do. And I was Googling, I was joining groups, I was asking questions, I was trying to figure out, do we pay for this? How do I make a curriculum? How do I make it where it's accredited, so we don't lose time and everything? And I had to figure all these things out on my own. Thankfully, I had a lot of moms that were in my corner, and I had some friends that I went to school with who homeschooled their kids, and so they helped me out. And then I did my own research. So, but that's a whole nother video in itself. But moving forward, though, she that fall, because she already started school, I thought I didn't want to pull her out, because But what happened was that the camel that broke the back was when she had Day of the Dead. they that is considered a religious thing, but at the same time, it's also considered a cultural thing. So the school districts do allow these things. Now, my problem is though is if you know what Day of the Dead is, and she knew about it, we learned about it, she talked, we talked about it, she knew everything about it. And we agreed that she would not do her whole face, doing the whole, I think it's like, I want to say it's, I think, macabre or something like that. I think that's the technical term for it or something. Anyway, she didn't want to, we agreed not to do the whole face thing because that would be, we didn't want to be culturally, messing with someone's culture because she is white. So, and not of the Mexican, Hispanic, So, we didn't want to, offend anybody. We've had those talks and everything is fine, and that's the household we are. So we make sure we can participate, but do it in a way where you're respecting our culture, you're appreciating our culture, not making fun of or making it into a joke or anything like that. So that's how we are. Anyway, so I ended up talking to her about that, and so we agreed that we won't do the whole face, we'll just do maybe half or a quarter of it or whatever. She found this cool looking thing online where she was like, hey mom, hey, I like this, because she used I allowed her to still use her laptop, but she was only allowed to use her laptop in the living room when I'm around, and so forth. She was not allowed to have anything else in her room because of that, and she was not allowed to have her cell phone anymore either. So she had no cell phone at that age, and everybody else did, but she didn't. So that made her even more weirder if she wasn't already. But she was like, she was getting over it, and she found this cool idea where it was like only from here, and then it was like there. It was only like that, like section, and she made all that like white, all the way around white, and then like she did like this beautiful design of black and red and colors, and it was really beautiful. And she's artistic anyway, so I love it. So yeah, so it looked fine. I even took photos of her, and she went to school that morning. And you gotta understand, this was literally like November 1st, I think. It was like the 1st or the 2nd or whatever. Okay, well, and if you know about Day of the Dead, it can celebrate for 7 days. It's not just for one day. It's literally 7 days. It's a whole week. It can start anywhere from like the day or two before Halloween, and it can go all the way through the first week of November. So she was still within that window. It was the day after Halloween and so forth. And so she went to school, and other people, other friends, other girls and stuff like that had their faces done. Everything was fine, and different. Some were African American, some were Hispanic, some were white, some were whatever. But for some reason, my daughter got pulled off the side when she entered the school, and it was after I dropped her off and everything like that, I went back home and I started a load of laundry and I was starting to clean, and it wasn't even like an hour or two later, like I'm getting this frantic phone calls, and because my phone was on silent, but I was like, because I'm thinking my daughter doesn't have a cell phone, so I don't have to worry about it. If there's an emergency, the school will call me, and eventually I will look at my phone. But I looked at it and I'm like, what? Who? Why? Because I was like, who keeps texting me? I don't know this. I didn't have this number on my phone, and I was looking at it, and it says, "Hey, mom, hey, it's me, Kaylee, it's me," And she was like telling me, she's like, "Hey, please, I'm crying in the bathroom. They want me to wash off my makeup. I don't think it's fair. Please, can you just come up here? Can you come up here, please?" And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And then she left voicemails of crying and tears, and you can hear some other girls in the background telling her it's okay. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I'm like, okay. So I called with the number back. I thought I was one of her best friends, and she's like, yeah, she's like crying. She's upset. She's like in the bathroom. She's not going back. She doesn't want to go back to class. So I'm like, okay, tell her to stay still, stay there. I'll be right. I'm on my way. We literally were like a couple blocks away from the school. So I threw on some clothes. I went up there, and I mean, literally, I looked like pretty much like this, but I at least put on a bra, And then I was like, and then this was before my teeth went bad too. So I went in there. I was like, what is going on? I was like going into Mama Bear mode, and they were like, okay, first of all, my daughter was telling me, she was like, yeah, the registrar lady, which is the front desk secretary person who is Hispanic, was telling her that she needed to wash off all that makeup off her face because it was culturally inappropriate and that she should not be doing that, and all this stuff, and telling her that it's not Day of the Dead, it's over with, blah blah. And I had to correct them, and then on top of that, I already had issues with the principal, who is African American. Her and we've gotten into it many times, and they have they didn't like what I had to say about the school, and how they treat some certain students, and how they ice out the ones that are academically exceptional, but they definitely want to promote football and athletics, but they don't want to sit there and promote kids that make straight A's all year long and who work their butts off and so forth. And how we paid a membership fee for National Junior Honor Society, which never did anything. And we never had a meeting. We never had anything. It was like a joke. And the only thing we ever did was have the induction ceremony, which we got a certificate for her membership, which we paid $25 for. I mean, it was like, what was the point? It was a joke. So I mentioned these things, and these are my opinions, which I had every right to, and they ended up deleting every comment I make, every post I make, every tag I make. I end up writing, and then I found out that the theater department, which my kid was a part of, and she's part of Destination Imagination. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's national here in the U.S. It is basically STEM. It uses their brains. These are things that kids can only do, but they have to have a sponsor, which is usually a teacher or a parent or something like that. And they basically set off the side, and they tell them, hey, this is your idea. Now you have to do it, and you have to make it be successful. And that's what they do. And then they go to competitions and they compete against other schools, and it's a big thing, but it's all about STEM, and it's intellectual. But this school, they seem to only concentrate on athletics, because athletics is money, just like it is in the real world. It's all about that NFL, NBA, all that. It's what it's all about. So it makes the world go around with politics. So, we found out that, the theater teacher that we loved, who was doing so good, and she was doing great. She'd put on great performances like that. We found out, knowing her budget was getting cut too, I found out that she was basically not really asked to leave, but she was getting almost pushed out. She got to the point where she wasn't even going to return the next following year, which I was so sad and heartbroken over. I mean, it's sad that the arts departments are always the first to go, but yet somehow they come up with the money to buy new balls, or get new gym floors, or get a new football stadium, but yet you can't have, I don't know, maybe a props closet, maybe funding for good stage lighting and things like that. We couldn't have those things. I don't know, but I digress on that. But so it felt like that was really the icing on the cake. That was what I thought God was giving me, our exit. So I came to show up. I talked to them. They were like, the girl in the register was like, no, that's not what I said. No, I told her that. I said, no, you're wrong. I said, you're wrong. If you knew, and then I was like, you're Hispanic yourself. If you knew your own culture, you would know that she is, and my daughter is in the right. She didn't do the whole face. And not only that, if you made her wash her face off, why didn't you let Mount make everyone else wash their face off? Why'd you pick on her? And not only that, you totally destroyed her. You took something that was good and celebratory and everything, and it's basically Day of the Dead is to honor a loved one that was mainly in your family who and to remember. Like if you've seen the movie Coco, it's just that's what it is. It's like the Day of the Dead. It's to honor your loved ones and your family. She did it in remembrance of her uncle who she didn't know much about, but she kind of remembers, and she ends up she she really appreciated him and everything like that, and so she did it in honor of him. And she, when someone asked her who are you honoring, she told them, and it really ruined it. It's like you ruined someone's funeral. I mean, you're telling her that she can't go to the grave and honor her loved dead one. I mean, that's pretty much what she's doing. If you allow all these others to do it, why can't she? So it became to the point I said, no, what you're doing is you're just being racist, basically. Because you're telling her that she's being racist, but you're the one who's being racist by telling her she can't participate in something that is, even though she's not Hispanic, but neither are some of the African American girls who were wearing the makeup. Neither are there was even some Asians that did the makeup that they weren't allowed. I mean, it's like they were allowed to do it. Everyone else was allowed to do it, but not my daughter who was white. So yeah, that's what it came down to it. So I ended up, I got so mad, and it was so to the point, I was getting so mad to the point they had to contact the resource officer, who to me was a total joke. And I even told him that to his face, and he told me, he's like, well, I can arrest you right here if you don't leave right now. You need to leave right now. And I was like, you know what, if I'm leaving right now, I'm pulling my daughter out of school, because this is ridiculous. This is not happening. I'm not putting her in an environment that won't even listen to her own mother. Y'all think you're going to listen to her? I mean, what if she was like sexually assaulted? Are you going to take it seriously? Because obviously y'all care more about athletics. You care more about the fun of where your funds go to get more money for it. You do not care about the emotional and the intellectual part of learning. You don't care about that. And then I went off on the officer talking about how I was like, yeah, you really care, like you're really gonna tell me to leave and you're gonna actually do something. Well, it's about time you did your job, because all you ever did was, when I'm literally sitting in the mama's line and I'm watching a couple of boys actually literally fist fight each other in the schoolyard, and you're over here just tossing a football with another kid, and you're not even paying attention that there's a fight going on, like not even 20 feet from you. I mean, like, really? And he goes, oh, so you're telling me I can't toss a football? I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you can't participate and make it somebody feel like, we're cool, but like you're an officer and I'm cool. No, you're not doing your job, which is supposed to prevent fighting, bullying. My daughter has come to you about, we've came to them about, she had a friend who was on the brink of suicide and who written letters and notes to her about how he felt, and she has tried to go to the counselors about it. And I mean, if it wasn't for me having the mom's information and telling her about it, it probably would not have known. And I mean, yeah, it's like, because the counselor did nothing. And according to the kid's mom, and when I asked her, I said, did the school reach out to you? Because my daughter tried to tell the counselor and try to give you, to reach out to you. And she's like, no, we never heard anything from the school. I mean, are you kidding me? And the district covers it up, and they act like nothing ever happens. They scrub the internet. They scrub any social media. And that explains why I got banned off my kid's own social media page, like the school's page. Like, I can't comment, I can't ask questions, I can't do anything. I got basically banned. But my kid goes to that school. No, you're gonna ban me, then I'm banning you to see my kid. So at that point I was like, you know what, no. So what happened was that, luckily this was on a Thursday or Friday. This was on a Thursday. I told her, I said, tomorrow you're not going to school. She's like, okay. And then I was like, okay. So that weekend, my husband and I and my daughter, we sat down, wrote pros and cons about homeschooling, and we all agreed, and we decided, you know what, we're homeschooling. Monday morning, in our state, we don't have to do that much to homeschool. All I had to do was write a letter and stating that I'm going to provide her with the education and we're withdrawing her. So that's it. So I did that. I wrote a letter, went up to the school, gave it to them. I left her at home because I'm like, you're not going with me. I'm going to handle this. They wanted to know why, but then I told them why, and then they were like, it didn't seem like they can care less. They can care a lot. They gave me an attitude a little bit, and it didn't help because considering every person I dealt with was not white. But I'm not saying that they had to be white for me to deal with them, for them to understand what I was going through. But it would have been better because at least I would have known I've been seen. So I understand when someone who is African American saying that, oh, you're just another white person, you don't get it, you don't understand. Because I mean, I understand. Now I understand what you went through, what you're going through, because I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel heard. My daughter didn't feel heard. So that is another. So I got to the point where I was like, unfortunately, but because we had to withdraw from school, she lost her membership to the National Junior Honor Society. She lost her DI status, which she loved doing, which was STEM. She lost so much. She lost any extracurricular activities. She lost contact with any of her friends because she had no cell phone. She lost so much, but she gained so much at the same time. When we started her, I found an online school which we would have to pay, and thankfully we were able to pay for it out of pocket, but we paid every month. And it's a school that actually is here in our state, and they do an actual, if she graduates with them, we'll actually have a ceremony. She'll actually be able to walk across the stage. I'm not going to be robbed of that. They do have homeschool proms. They do those things. They still do everything. And I never see my daughter thrive as much as I have when she started homeschooling. So, and now fast forwarding, we are now finishing up. We just finished our junior year, about to start senior year of homeschooling at the same school. And yeah, so this video was basically going to be about, the main thing we're having concerns over is that now she's worried about going to college because she's been in this world, this bubble of homeschooling. I tried to get her out and about to meet with other homeschoolers to get some social interaction, but she cared less. And it's really hard to do on her own. And not just that, but like she is a homebody, and I'm basically her best friend, but I can't go to college with her. And she is a kid who on her own chooses not to say any cuss words. She doesn't cuss. She doesn't even flip you off. She doesn't use the middle finger. She uses her pinky, which is hilarious. But I mean, we call her, she's the good Christian girl, even though we don't go to church or anything. But I mean, I allow her to take her own spiritual path, but I mean, which I'm good with whatever she chooses in life when it comes to that. That's her decision. It's her life. It's between her and whoever she believes in. But if she believes in anything, so I just want her happy. I mean, that's it. But now we're at the point where now she's realizing when she goes to college, she's watching videos on YouTube and stuff, and she has a phone now, because she's learned her lesson after years not having one. She recently got one, like literally this past year. I mean, when she was like 16, 17, she finally got a cell phone. She just recently signed up for one or two social medias, which she's done really well in. It's mostly in lockdown. But she does watch, YouTube and things like that, which is fine. But she's been researching, and she's like, oh my God, these kids, they cuss so much. Oh my God, the drinking, the partying, all that. She's so scared that she's like, I'm not gonna fit in. I'm gonna be out of my element. I'm gonna be. It's like a trauma all over again that she faced when she was in 7th grade, and there's nothing I can do about it because she's going to be an adult. I can't be at college with her. I told her we could FaceTime a lot. I'm open to talking with her. I'm looking to find her like an online therapist or something like that, but unfortunately a lot of them are expensive. Online therapy is expensive, even if you had insurance. I mean, you're looking at almost $100 to $300 a week, and that's only like if you saw them once a week. It's ridiculous. I'm hoping that she finds her tribe. I keep telling her she's gonna find her tribe. She's gonna find her tribe. She's gonna find her people, in school. And my fear is that she's gonna freak out. Or she's gonna become so introverted that she's gonna isolate herself and miss out on going to events and going to parties and stuff like that. I told her, I said, you can go to parties, just you don't have to drink. It's okay to, if you choose not to cuss at all, if you choose not to say any curse words, you make up your own words, or just tell them, say, I don't cuss. I mean, that's your preference. It's like saying I talk proper and decide not to say slang words. I mean, you will find your tribe. There will be people out there that are going to be like, oh, you don't cuss either? Neither do I. You know what I mean? Or if you can find at least one person, and as big as the college and universities are, there's got to be someone out there. But sometimes you have to make that first move. You're going to have to look up, events, bulletin boards, and say, hey, there's a gathering. There's a book club. There's a thing I like to read. I like to do this. I like to do that. Do those things. Go at least once. Attend one meeting. Go to one gathering, or go at the hall the dormitory that you're staying in. If they have, like, say, hey, we're going to have a, hot dog s'mores night or something like that, or we're doing a water balloon fight or whatever it is. Join in. Those are harmless activities. You don't have to drink. You do not have to participate. And you do not, when it comes to the things that you don't agree with, if it gets uncomfortable, you always have that opportunity, and you have the freedom and good free will to walk away. But don't walk away too soon. Give it a chance. Stand your ground. Tell them, say, no, thank you. I choose not to, but I still would like to stay. I still would like to watch. I still would like to participate a little bit. And then, eventually people will get over it. People will understand. People will grow up. People will mature, and you'll mature with them, and you will find your way. I just don't want you to isolate yourself, and that's my fear as a mother. And I don't know. I think it would have been a lot worse if we would have kept her in public school, because I don't know if she would have even still be alive today if we kept her there. I don't know. The path she was going down, a destruction, and just, yeah. So I'm kind of glad we made that decision of homeschooling, but now we're at the point where now you could homeschool by doing school online in college, but I want her to have that experience of being out in the world alone, because if you're going to be this independent woman and you're going to eventually get out, and if you decide not to date or live with anybody, you're going to learn to have to coexist with others that are different than you, even if you disagree with their lifestyle, or even if you disagree with their choice of words, even if you disagree with what they do and how they use their time. You have to learn it. You're going to, just like they tolerate you. You may become mother hen. They may talk about you, make fun of you, because you're different. You're a minority. You're not the majority. And sometimes, it's better to be the minority, because then that you have options. You have more options available to you, because then it's easier to mold a minority than it is to mold a majority, because the majority is always, they're part of that sheep herd. They're following everybody else. They look like everybody else. But with you don't have to. You do your own path. You make your own path. You choose which apple from which tree to pick from. You are going to make choices. And I just want to get her anxiety out. And I think she did to herself, because the other night she decided to look up on YouTube videos, and she's like, oh my God, this is a private university, I'm trying not to say the name, university that is supposed to be have some type of church affiliation, and yet there's kids here cussing and they're doing things even sexually or whatever it is, and innuendos and stuff. And yet I thought, these are kids that are supposed to be smart, they're supposed to be prestigious, and they come from rich households and stuff like that, because money doesn't buy you happiness. Money does not sit there and tell you, I mean, just because I told her this last night. I said, the reason some of these kids act this way, or because they are this way, is one, they didn't have mommy and daddy to sit there and pay attention to them when they were younger. They didn't have that one-on-one love, and they didn't sit there and talk to and direct them and guide them. They didn't have mom or dad to sit there and listen to them when they needed help. The only help they had and the only guidance they had was whatever they saw on TV, whatever they saw on, what they saw in magazines, what they saw on the internet, what other people that were probably not a good positive reinforcer in their life. That's what they absorbed, and so that's how they know how to cope. And they choose to use the language that they use. They choose to act out in the way they do, to dress in a manner that they do, to carry themselves in the way they do. And yes, your father and I may have fought, we may have had arguments, and we may not be the best, parents in the world, but I try my hardest to be that parent that, one, I allowed you to make your own decisions, but allow you to know that there's always going to be consequences to your decisions. There's always going to be the positives and the negatives. There's always I also made sure that you were heard. I allow you time to talk to me, come to me. I could be a mom and I could be your best friend. I could be both. I could be whatever you need me to be at that moment in time, and you need someone to reach out to. And that will never change, even when you become a student at a university and you're there on campus. Be bigger and better. Look for the higher things. And even if you can't succeed at those things, and you think you fail or you get denied, at least you tried. So you look at the glass half full. Maybe that wasn't in your cards. Maybe you need to shuffle that deck a little bit and lay out another spread. Maybe you need to do those things. So that is what I want to reach out and see, and want you guys to comment down below if you have a child who was homeschooled and is going through similar situations, either now or you did at one time, or is that one of your fears as a parent, or anything like that. Please comment down below or share this video with others that maybe they can help me out too as well as a parent, because I'm trying my hardest, and I don't want to be a mother hen over here, but I don't want her to feel like she's not being heard either, so I just wanted to give you guys a whole lot, and this video has been long enough. It's an hour and a half long. I guess I'm getting to the point where my habits and my videos are going to end up being an hour long, so prepare for those. Again, still working on some other videos. I got a whole list of different types of YouTube videos. I have one I'm going to do about probably in between while I'm still working on the cult video. I have one that I've written down. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Ideas, and if you're a YouTuber, do not steal my ideas, because I haven't came across it yet. I'm pretty sure it's there, but I haven't came across it yet. Let me see if I can find it. I wrote it down. Yeah, so I've got a couple things I'm going to do. Is I'm looking into if y'all remember in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, there a band, it's like a rock band called Rage Against the Machine. You remember? I remember, and they broke up. I remember because I bought their last album. But there's a music video. It's called a stock. It's like a stock market closure video. I was gonna look into that. I think there's a little bit of black and white tiles into that one. I'm also looking into hidden continents. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. continents. Is that how you say it? Continents? Yeah, continents. There, we used to have other continents that we don't have no more. I'm just gonna look into that and those kind of theories. I'm also looking into also, this may seem silly, but I think it'd be fun to do, is on Sesame Street, the monsters. You got Elmo, you have Oscar the Grouch, you have Grover and Telly and Snuffleupagus, all them. Some of this is not really a monster, but it's still furry. But all the monsters on Sesame Street, I'm looking into seeing how the evolution of them, how they actually are all related. They're all a family. I'm also looking into how come in the 80s and 90s, on some of the teen shows we used to watch and movies, how come they were played by actual adults in their 20s and 30s, maybe almost 40s, but they looked young. Like, look at Grease, the movie Grease. They were like in their 20s and 30s playing teenagers. But how come, back then, a lot of those were done by actual adults, but they were playing teenagers. But nowadays, we have actual kids that are playing, or younger, are playing teens. We actually had, that's kind of weird to me. What changed? What happened? I mean, is it realism, or is it, another hidden agenda about it? And then I'm looking into a company with Thrive. You notice there's a lot of Thrives. There's Thrive Cosmetics, Thrive Market, Thrive this, Thrive that. I mean, I'm thinking, is Thrive a cult? I'm also doing a deep dive into Lightworkers organization cult as well. I'm going to do a deep dive into that, as well as Lemuria, which was also a hidden continent. And then I'm also looking into other things. I've got so much, guys. I have so much I want to go into, in different genres, different things. So look forward to those. In between some of those videos, I'm going to post what I call BS videos, or videos like this, which is more vlog style, and me talking about my family life and issues and things like that. So, I'll put those in playlists so you don't have to watch it because I just posted it. But if you want to watch it, that's great, whatever. If this is your first time here, check out my other videos. I had a whole lot of videos in the past years since I started this channel, but this is why it's 2.0. I deleted a lot of videos because of YouTube. So unfortunately, I didn't want to lose my channel. So yeah. Well, with that all being said, guys, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys listening to all my worries as a mom. And I hope my kid doesn't hate me for putting all her dirty laundry out there. But I just thought maybe, somebody out there can relate to it and understand. So if you guys want to, please hit that like button, the thumbs up button. Please make sure you subscribe, and thank you. Also, check out Asia Walker, her videos, even though she's got a lot more subscribers and a lot more viewers than I do. But yeah, I'll put her link down below into that particular video that I saw. I'll put it down below as well in the description, so you guys can go check her out and subscribe to her. And Asia, if you're watching, I appreciate you, and I want you to know that you are not alone in this journey of our teeth. And I will post up a date if I, by chance, because it's next week, I'm going to try to wear a partial, and if I got pain, that's going to be an update, and maybe a whole nother journey for the bottoms. So wish me luck on that one. So in the meantime, guys, thanks for the love, thanks for the support, and make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell for every video. I'm trying to do more videos more often, but not as much at the same time. Trying to do the quality versus quantity thing. But I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for supporting me and watching all the way through and listening to all my worries. All right, I guess that's it. So have a great day. Bye.